Good morning, it is Felicia Starks. I'm keeping it real with you today. So I took my wig off and this is how I look when I don't have wigs on. So yes, I may look crazy to you because I have my hair braided. And some of you have never seen me this way, but I do have hair. I've always had thin edges, but I wanted to make this video because I hadn't made a video in a while, and there's lots of reasons for it. But one of the reasons, and it hit me in the face on Friday, as great as you may be at things that you do, and it may be second nature, you still can have develop what's called imposter syndrome. And so for those of you that are just joining, you've not seen me this way. And I'm this way for a reason, because I don't have anything to hide. These lines are just because I just took my hat off I got back from the gym, and so these are from my hat. And so for those of you, you've not ever seen me this way, and I'm this way for a reason, because I don't have anything to hide, and I want to talk about imposter syndrome. And I'm just going to read real quick what it is, and you may be able to identify with it. It says imposter syndrome, fraud syndrome, or imposter experience is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, or accomplishments as a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. I'm going to say that again. Imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, or accomplishments and has a persistent, internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud despite external evidence of their competence. Those experiencing this phenomenon remain convinced that they are frauds and do not deserve all that they have achieved. You may be watching this live, you may be watching this on the replay. Imposter syndrome had really taken over me. I do corny jokes and I do a lot of things, and what I've noticed is that was more of a defense mechanism to make things light. But as great as I am at helping people with fat loss and helping people with just brighten up, inspire them, I have been struggling with imposter syndrome. And that's where, even though I have several people that I've helped before in the past with their nutrition and with their fitness and all of that, I was still struggling with not really believing that I was competent like I needed to be, or that I would be found out to be a fraud. And although I'm not a fraud and I've helped lots of people, it still was affecting me, and that effect on me has kept me from doing live videos. For those of you that have known me for a while, you've known that typically I'm doing at least one video a day or a week. But I stopped because I felt like I had nothing to say. And I came to the realization on Friday that it's the imposter syndrome, that it could have been someone may have said something that was like, oh, that made me feel like that I was not as effective as I thought I was, even though I've helped lots of people. The imposter syndrome will keep you stuck. And so the reason that I'm making the video with no wigs and all of this is I wanted to come on here because there's nothing to hide. There's nothing, although I wear wigs, I work out all the time. So I don't want to have to keep doing my own hair. So the wigs are there to help make my life better. And I don't have to worry about trying to do my hair because I haven't, like I said, I'm braided up and I stay braided up, but I get my hair washed. But anyway, I just wanted to apologize to those of you that typically you know that I make videos and I have not made the videos, and I struggle internally with my own thinking and I overthink things too much. So I just want you to know that I'll be back with the videos. Matter of fact, there'll be a video later today and I'll have my wig on, just so you know. But I wanted to keep it 100 with you and let you know that even your people that inspire you, or people that motivate you, or people that you may look to for motivation or whatever, we have our own internal things that we deal with. Mine, and I hadn't even told anyone, was this imposter syndrome, which is not real. And for those of you that are just joining, it's typically where you get in your mind that even though you are effective at what it is that you do, you start believing that you're not as effective, and that you're a fraud, and that if you keep going as hard as you are and as hard as you have been, that people will find out that you're not authentic. And even though that was so far from the truth, that's what I believed. And so because I believed it, I was stuck in it. And it's so crazy that it happens. It could be, I don't know what triggered it. It could have been a post someone made. It could have been something that feedback that someone gave me. No matter what, it's not true. And if you are in a position where either you're a coach or you're a trainer or you're a mentor, whatever it is, it could be even being a parent. You may feel like, oh my gosh, they're going to find out that I'm not qualified to give this advice. When the fact is that if you've conquered something, if you've overcome something, if you have if you've overcome it, period, you have authority to speak on it. You don't have to get all these. Now, of course, doctors and all that kind of things, and if you're an attorney and all that you do need certain degrees and licenses and all that kind of stuff. But in order to help someone be better, feel better, live their lives healthier, you just need to have overcome something and be willing to share what it is that you have overcome. And because of that, that will inspire someone to continue pushing forward. So thank you for watching. Thank you for responding to my post. I am not a one-dimensional woman, and that's why I can stand firmly, even though I'm not standing, I'm on my knees. I am confident in my ability to be able to help people move from one place to another. And my specialty is nutrition and fitness. So that's what I talk about. The other part of that is beauty. And I have not talked about it as much because I've been struggling with how do I want to be able to share with you things that I love, things that I find that are really effective, and even things that I find that didn't really work out as well. But I haven't been comfortable even sharing it because it was like, well, you doing this and you doing that, and no one has said this. This is me. I'm an analyst, like I have been an analyst for 20 something years. And because of me being an analyst, it was hard for me to turn off my brain for overthinking. And so if you've been here before, and if you are just watching the video, please watch it from the beginning, because I talk about what imposter syndrome is, and you may not even have recognized it. I've heard it before, but it wasn't until Friday when I listened to a podcast that I really realized that that's what's been going on with me. Because when you get to a point where you feel like you're paralyzed, not paralyzed, but you're stuck and you don't know how to get unstuck, it takes you going through either self-evaluation or talking to a therapist or whatever to figure it out. And then once you figure out how to move forward. So if you know how to do it, if you have conquered it, you have made it, and you are firm in what you know in your foundation, do not let imposter syndrome take over your life like it did mine. Like I said, I hadn't even talked to anyone about this, but I wanted to get on here and be real. And me being real is how you normally see me. You normally see me with hair or whatever. And after this, you'll see me with hair. But I wanted to be real with you and tell you what I have been struggling with. And the best way for me to do that was for me to remove everything that may make me feel comfortable. Because when you're able to move to a place of discomfort, regardless of what people think about you and regardless of what people's opinion of you are, that's how you continue to grow. And that's what I'm focused on, is on growth. And so thank you again. But before I leave, I want to read this one more time, because if you are struggling or think that there's you've thought about it, knowing how to get past it is going to be the only way that you get over it. So imposter syndrome or fraud syndrome is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, or accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. Despite external evidence of their competence, those experiencing this phenomenon remain convinced that they are fraud and do not deserve all that they have achieved. Everything that you have is not by luck. It's not by, it didn't just happen because of whatever. You didn't just luck up on it. It happened because of work, it happened because God allowed it, and it happened because you worked for it. And so when you get to a place where you're thriving and you're doing well, and you feel like you're waiting for the something bad to happen, you're thinking that because you feel like that you don't deserve it, and you do. There's nothing that you have right now that you do not deserve, whether it be good or bad. Let's keep that real. It may be good and it may be bad, and I say bad like it may be a trial, but whatever it is, please know that you're not in this position because you got lucky. You're not in this position because you were deceptive. You're in this position because you prayed for it, you worked for it, and you deserve it. And that's the end of it. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your encouragement. And just know that the next video, I'm not going to be like this, but I needed to, for myself, get and be comfortable sharing with you who I am outside of the camera. Because guess what? What you think about me is none of my business. You can say, I'm ugly as heck. You can say, I'm crazy. You can say, I don't know what I'm talking about. But guess what? Whatever you think, you're free to think it. It doesn't change who I am. And that's what I want you to remember. I love you. Today is Sunday. Today is the week of Thanksgiving. Whether you celebrate Thanksgiving or not, find 3 things for you right now to speak out loud that you are grateful for. When you're grateful and you are and you are operating in gratefulness, you will receive more, because when you're grateful, you're giving, and when you receive more, it's like it's just gonna keep, it's a repeat cycle. So 3 things that you're grateful for today. For me, I'm going to tell you, I'm grateful for the love that I feel every day. I'm grateful to be able to wake up and do what it is that I love and not have to answer to, can you take off? Can you do this? I'm grateful. I'm grateful for being laid off in June. God allowed that, and I'm grateful for it. And I'm also grateful that I have an amazing 14-year-old son that is thriving, that loves who he is, knows who he is, and loves his family. You speak 3 things you're grateful for. I am challenging you to do that today and every day this week. See how that changes your life. Love y'all.